think I did it right. Merry Christmas, Alan. This is Mom here on University campus, and Dad is sitting here beside me. We're at the Telecommunicative Arts, and it's a building right across from where they practice football here on campus. And they sponsor this every year for servicemen, and it's free of charge. And we've got 15 minutes to talk to you. And hope it turns out okay and that you do get to hear it. We wondered, most of these I think maybe go to servicemen on land or Vietnam, but maybe your ship has a tape recorder and you can play this back. We hope so. I made some notes here, so if I sound like I'm reading, why I am, because I was afraid I'd get in here and I wouldn't think of anything to tell you. You remember what happened 2 years ago today? You left for Des Moines, I think, on December 11th, and you were sworn in, weren't you, on the 12th? It was about like today, weather-wise. There's no snow. It was pretty mild temperatures today. We haven't heard from you, Al, for a long time now, about 6 weeks at least. And we're real anxious, and we'd like for you to write oftener. I guess you know that. Maybe we don't write often enough either. I hope you're getting our mail and the Des Moines Register, and we've sent 3 Christmas packages, and I know of several others that have sent to you. And Grandma said Sunday that American Legion Auxiliary from Fairfield was sending a gift to you. I think it's a sewing kit. Grandpa said he was going to write and ask you if your arm was all right. Since we hadn't heard from you, he thought maybe you'd broken your arm. We thought maybe after those 34 days of line duty were up that we'd hear right away again, but we're still looking. I wondered if you wrote to Jane and if you heard from her. We're getting Christmas cards every day now from relatives and friends in Fairfield, and they ask about you. We had a card from Irma and young Kenny and Monica from California. Isla flew out, or else went on the train, I forget which, out to be with them for Thanksgiving. And Irma has had a stroke, I guess I told you that, and she's in real bad shape. We haven't decorated for Christmas yet. We're thinking about getting a tree real soon now. I'd like to have you here to pick it out for us. Lots of people do have their Christmas decorations up, and it's real pretty around town. Tonight on campus, the lights are going to be turned on over by Beardshare Hall, and Dr. Parks, the president, was going to press the button that turned on the lights and give a speech, I guess. And maybe after we leave this building, we'll drive around there and see it. I think Fairfield was prettiest of all the towns we came through. We went down to Eldon Sunday to Carla Zolke's wedding, and it was at the Methodist church there. It isn't a large church, and it was full of relatives mostly. She had a real lovely wedding and a reception. Rita was bridesmaid, and she told Dad that her foot went to sleep. And Dad was kidding her about that. And told her that he asked her when she was going to get married, and she said in about 20 years. And we told her foot probably wouldn't go to sleep at her own wedding, and she said, "Do you want to bet?" Sheetles and Barthelow's and Bissigs were there. Betty had a picture of her new grandson, Mary Kay's little boy. And Bissig's had Jim and John both there. Jim's got more hair than Lynn has. And Zelke's new home is finished now, and they moved in 3 weeks ago. And they invited us down to go through it. And Barthelow's wanted us to go home with them and go through theirs, but we just didn't think we had time. We came on to Fairfield, and we were in Fairfield by 4 p.m. Sunday. And we visited it with Mabel Bennett for the first time since we left Fairfield, and then went to Aunt Elsie's across the street, who is 80 years old now and looks real good. Then we went on up to the folks, and we talked them into going out for a bowl of soup at Woody's instead of Grandma going to trouble there at home when she wasn't really able. Grandpa's eye is better, and his vision is quite a bit better, and his toes are healed, and Grandma isn't very good with her arthritis, though. Just a moment now.
Hello there, Al. Oh, don't have any notes to go by, as usual. So I'll have to do mine from memory, I guess. It's nice that we can get to talk to you. I hope you have a tape recorder on the ship. If you don't, you probably have to wait until you get in someplace where you can go to the Red Cross or some service place, I suppose, where they have those. But I imagine you have one right on ship, or somebody would have one. It's a small tape. It looked like one about the size that your machine used to have. I wouldn't swear to it. Well, we've had a nice winter so far. Few cold days, a little snow, but the snow is all disappeared now. They're forecasting a white Christmas, I see by the paper. My hours have been cut down now from 7:30 to 4:30. Only in case of emergency, of course, we can work longer. But we generally aim to be through by 4:30. I've been plowing most of the fall. I think last Friday afternoon was the last that we plowed. We tried it Friday morning, but it was froze pretty hard. And then it warmed up a little, so we went out in the afternoon and tried it again. It was pretty good in places, but it was still froze in the shady spots. We had to go up to beef again today and cut some more corn stalks for that stover silage, they call it. And we chop the stalks and blow them in a wagon, then they take them up to beef, and they're just blowing them outside in a pile on a big cement that they have out there. Well, I guess Mother thinks of something, so I'll turn it over to her.
Did that sound like Ron Cochran giving the news? I wanted to tell you that Dad called Margaret, Mike's mother, and Mike will be home for Christmas, and then he'll go to Fort Meade, Maryland, I believe, for more schooling. And so he won't be going out on a ship yet, and Margaret was real glad at that. We left Fairfield Sunday evening around 10:30 and were in Ames by 1 o'clock in the morning. Randy didn't go with us. He went to church with Linda. and her family Sunday morning. And then, from the looks of things, he must have cooked dinner for someone there at home. And he was in bed when we got home, so we didn't talk to him about it. I meant to tell you that Carla's new husband, Dean Brenneman, is in the Air Force and stationed in South Dakota. He's a graduate of Iowa City and has taught school. Carla has been teaching up until her wedding. I saw Phil Huff one day during finals on campus this last quarter. He looked real good and said he should have studied more. He talked like he was real busy with other activities. Little Black Joe is behaving real well now. Gives us no trouble at all. He goes to the door and he yells real loud to go out, and when he's ready to come in, he jumps up and scratches on the door, and he's just no trouble at all. Tonight, getting ready to come down here, Daddy left the guest room door open, and of course Joe went right in there and climbed up on the guest bed. He loves those pillows, but we carried him out. We don't let him go in there and keep the door closed now. We're feeding him some new food, just Purina dry food, Purina cat chow, and it's cheaper and he looks a lot better. We were wondering how many Christmas balls he'd chew up off of the tree this year. Randy's been busy in shop working on different things for his room. He mounted the barbershop light on a beautiful piece of finished walnut on his wall tonight. He'd been working on the wood at school. He brought it home and he got it mounted and put up tonight. He still works from 5 to 7, and he came just before we left, and I think he and Linda were going to the library, they said. He is busy in auto mechanics at school. He bought a size 40 coverall Monday for shop. Well, Al, I about run out of anything to tell you. In our 15 minutes, it looks like it's about up. And this is your third Christmas away from us, and of course, we hope maybe next year that maybe we can be together again. At any rate, it won't be long now till you'll be sailing back to California, and we'll pick up the receiver and hear that, will you accept the charges again? We'll be glad to hear it. So, I hope all of you on the ship have a nice Christmas and you're all remembered real well. So, bye for now, Al. Write, please, more often. Bye-bye.
Last Monday evening, shortly after 6 o'clock, we heard the house shook, and we thought it was a jet breaking the sound barrier. That's just what I supposed it was. I never thought much about it, and then shortly afterwards I heard a jet go over. But come to find out, there was a jet trainer out of Des Moines crashed at Story City, close to Story City, right close to Interstate 35. And it crashed within a few feet of a farmhouse. One of the men bailed out, but something happened. His parachute didn't open, and the other one went down with the plane. It was a jet trainer, and of course they was both killed. They sprayed jet fuel all over the house and other buildings. Everything burnt except the barn, and the explosion was terrific. It even blew boards off of the barn. There was three cars burned up, besides a lot of machinery. I forget how many were in the house. They had an invalid uncle or something that was bedridden, but they all got out safe with a few scratches. They were mighty lucky.
How far was that from Ames?
I don't know. I think Story City's only about 12, 15 miles, something like that, north.
But we heard that noise.
But everybody heard the noise when it exploded. It really made a hole in the ground, I guess. And there was two other jets flying with them. They were on a training mission. They was going to meet a Air Force bomber someplace. I don't know what, they didn't say what the reason was for meeting this bomber, but they were on a training mission. One fellow that was killed was from Ogden, and he had a wife and 2 children, and the other man was from Eldora, I believe it was, and he had a wife and 2 children. They were both in their 20s. One was a farmer,